Picture someone hitting you with words, a cutting remark, a harsh judgment, a subtle jab wrapped in politeness. Most people defend themselves, argue back, or blow up. But what if you handled it another way? What if, the moment you were challenged, you became a calm stone wall, a cool mirror that reflects the strike without effort? This is what the Stoics called commanding yourself. Today I'll show you the Stoic approach that turns any attack into proof of inner stability. Marcus Aurelius once said, "You control your thoughts, not external events." Understand this, and you uncover your strength. That's the doorway. Life will try to knock you off balance. People will push your buttons, irritate you, and try to drag you into disorder. But the wise don't answer on impulse. They watch, evaluate, and then choose whether it even deserves a reply. The attack is the exam. Your response is the score. Before we go into the method, you must see what actually occurs when someone goes after you. Most believe they're being criticized because they messed up. That's the big mistake. Most of the time, the insult reflects the attacker, not the one targeted. As Epictetus taught, what unsettles us is not events, but the meaning we attach to them. A verbal strike is simply an opinion, often a hidden confession. Typically, the attacker exposes one of three human frailties: insecurity, envy, or a hunger for control. Insecurity makes people lash out to feel above someone. Criticism becomes their way to mask their inadequacy. Envy surfaces when your discipline or peace irritates them. Your calm reflects back their lack of discipline. And the desire for control makes people provoke you, because if they get you to react, they feel in charge. Once you grasp this, the insult changes shape. It stops being an arrow. It becomes data. It's no longer personal. It's psychological information. You stop playing the target and shift into the observer. This is what the Stoics described as managing impressions, perceiving things as they actually are, not as emotion distorts them. When you do that, the advantage moves to you. Now comes the Stoic three-part method: reflect, deflect, and reframe. This is how you win without lashing out. Step 1 is to reflect. And the twist is that this first move is actually stillness, doing nothing. It's silence, the discipline of holding back. When someone insults, blames, or tries to provoke you, your body urges a reaction. Your ego wants to shout, your voice wants to rise. But this is exactly when the Stoic uses the pause. He becomes a calm mirror. The attack hits and dissolves. Epictetus taught, if another upsets you, recognize that it's your interpretation that upsets you. The insult is powerless until you accept it. Silence becomes a shield. When you stay silent, the attacker loses footing. He expected chaos, argument, validation. What he receives is calm. The energy he hurled returns to him. His anger becomes awkward, and you, still composed, become the anchor in the room. That calm isn't weakness, it's authority. You're saying without speaking, your attack isn't worth my energy. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is to not resemble your offender." By staying calm, you win the moment without winning the debate. Mastering this first step grants you time, and within time lies freedom. The second step is to deflect. If silence is the shield, deflection is your blade. After the pause comes the question. This is the Stoic tool, reason. Where most counter with excuses or aggression, the wise counter with curiosity. The trick is to ignore the words and examine the motive. Imagine someone says, "That report you did is awful. Clearly you didn't try." The reactive person says, "That's false. I worked for days." The Stoic calmly answers, "Interesting. What specifically would you like changed?" Now the spotlight shifts. The critic must explain his approach. Another example, someone mocks you. "You always have to act like the expert, huh?" The usual reply is, "I'm not acting like anything. I just spoke up." The Stoic response, "I notice a lot of force in your tone. Is everything okay?" Suddenly, the aggressor becomes the one under the microscope. Third example, the broad accusation, "You never listen." The reflexive answer, "Of course I do." The Stoic reply, "I appreciate that. Could you give a specific instance so I understand?" The attack collapses. Emotion loses to logic. These questions are psychological tools. They sound calm, but they break apart the attacker's frame. You've stepped away from emotion and into reason, and whoever owns the frame owns the exchange. But there's one more phase. The final piece is reframing. This is where you take back the entire narrative. Reframing is the top level of control, turning the attack into nothing. Back to example 1.
After your question, they say, "I just want the job done properly." You answer, "Makes sense. I appreciate the input. I'll keep it in mind." And you move on. The jab is gone. You didn't defend, explain, or commit. You simply treated it as neutral feedback. Second example. After the jab, you're such a know-it-all, the other person starts to soften. No, I wasn't trying to say that. You respond, I get it. Sometimes tone throws me off, and you continue speaking. Right away, you framed it as minor and moved ahead. You've shown the attack never touched you. This last step is the height of Stoic strength. Seneca said, "No one can wrong me without my agreement." By reframing, you withhold that agreement. You've reduced the attack to air. Reflect, deflect, reframe. 3 steps, 1 inner posture. This isn't about beating others. It's about mastering yourself. The reactive person is predictable. The composed person is untouchable. But watch out for common traps. First, overexplaining. If you rush to justify, you appear guilty. Second, striking back. Counterattacks surrender your control. Third, sarcasm. Sarcasm is frustration in disguise. To master this, train the pause. For the next 7 days, practice silence when challenged. Just breathe and watch. Phase 2, practice deflection. Respond with questions instead of reactions. Phase 3, practice reframing. End exchanges with calm. Over time, something within you shifts. People notice they can't rattle you. You become steady, centered, respected. People trust those who master themselves because that level of control is rare. Remember, the Stoic's real strength lies not in ruling others, but in ruling himself. The opponent isn't outside. It's impulse, pride, and ego. Defeat those, and no outside attack can harm you. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "When you wake each day, reflect on the gift of living, breathing, thinking, loving." That awareness makes every insult meaningless. The world is full of small battles, at home, at work, online. Most people fight them emotionally and end up hurt. The Stoic moves differently. He walks through disorder like a commander through a storm, viewing every challenge as a test of character. Reflect, deflect, reframe. 3 movements. 1 immovable mind. Practice them until they become natural. Until, when confronted, your first reaction is silence, your second a question, and your third, a quiet smile. When that happens, you'll know you've achieved mastery. Not mastery over others, but over your own mind. If this video gave you insight and strength, subscribe to Ascend X Awaken